I checked it. Okay. You guys ready for the Korean spa experience? Let's hit it. So Michele and I went to Korea a few years ago, and there's so much to tell about it. This is something like a 45-minute conversation that I'm going to try and put into PK terms, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. We're skipping over the Korean wedding that I shot. We're skipping over the Australian woman who is obsessed with my legs. We're skipping over all of these other things that happen and going straight to the spa. If you ever go to a place, probably anywhere in Asia, I can only speak for Korea, nothing makes sense. All the maps, all the signs, partially because we use different letters. But also because, like, I like to make maps for people and make them all make total sense, but there you just get led into weird spots. Because the Australian woman told us we needed to go to the spa, we went to this particular spa that when we finally found it, we found all these demented, like, Disney characters from the 60s, but they were like slightly weirded out kind of versions. Reluctantly, we went inside. When we went inside, we found something that was a little more strange. First of all, it was a dark space, but there was an animatronic Disney-looking 1960s stewardess that about every 25 seconds would bend over slowly, more robotic. It would be very creepy. So we finally went up to the counter and asked what we had to do, and we had to separate ways. I have no idea what Michele did. This is my story from this point on. I went up the stairs, I went in, it felt like I was in like a kung fu movie from the 70s where like somebody was going to come out of nowhere and punch me or something, because everything just had this weird old look to it and weird old feel. And I had to walk into a locker room where I first had to take off my shoes, put them in locker 1, and then I get a key that I bring into the counter so I can get key number 2 to put my clothes in. And thankfully, there was a German guy who was willing to try and help me a little bit. German guy was all like, you take off all your stuff and your clothes and you go in there naked. So I walked in, and first of all, it was like going through a 1960s barbershop without any chairs, and there was nobody there. So I finally go through the bifold doors, and it's just steamy. It's like the biggest high school shower area you've ever seen, towers, but like the size of a gymnasium. And I was just like, oh, this is weird. First thing you notice as an American walking in there, Americans do use razors sometimes. We sometimes trim things. The Koreans, on the other hand, imagine a basketball. You cut off about a third of it, cover it in an afro, and put a little pink eye in the middle. And that's what was everywhere. Everywhere. So naturally, as much as I was freaked out, they were looking at me like, judgment. Oh, there's something wrong with this guy. And I'm not saying anything about my grooming habits when I say that, by the way. Maybe it was something else, like, wow. Anyway, I finally made my way to this. Thanks. I finally made my way to the hot tubs, where there was this assortment of like almost like a candy aisle or an ice cream aisle of all these different flavors, like jade bathtub and stuff. But wormwood, in case your menstruation pains are bad. I didn't have that at the time. But the biggest thing I noticed was 115-degree tubs. In America, 104 degrees is the maximum allowable by law. So this is really hot. It's like sticking a tomato in boiling water. At some point, I finally wandered around, and I was like, I don't really like saunas, but I'll go into one of these. 2 of them were out of order. There's only one. It's got a U-shaped counter. There's one Korean guy on one side, one Korean guy straight in front, so I thought I'd take the right side. I walk in there, and I'm all like a kid in high school, like just kind of afraid I'm going to sit there. The guy across from me kind of like looks up, stands up and walks away. I'm like, okay, sorry, I don't know what I did. But that guy walks away, and I kind of look at the other guy. Okay, don't look at too much. You're probably not supposed to stare. I don't have my glasses on. And this guy starts like doing calisthenics. He starts stretching, and then he starts right in my face. We talked about grooming earlier, right? I got to see it close up finally. So this guy is doing this, and I'm wondering if this is like toe tapping at a rest area or something. Like if something else was supposed to happen, and I'm like, I'm getting out of here. That nothing in toe tapping leads to fluid. But I walk back out in this very wet space, keeping in mind, of course, there's a lot of moisture here. That's why I put water up. Very wet space, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go to the shower, and then I found the massage tables, and I'm like, yes, this is why I'm here. So I creep up to him, and I notice the signs, and I can't read a thing. And all of a sudden, this little guy comes running up, and he's like, I'm like, massage. I play charades when I don't know a language. I'm like, full body. You know, like, yeah. And so, not the actual guy. But very close. He came up in a Speedo, and he's like, oh, no. And he's taking my watch off. I'm laying on this slippery white table, and it's all, like, really creepy feeling. Really hot, really humid, really slippery. And this guy's, like, putting his, like, really working me over. It was good. Not like this dainty one in the pictures. So, after a little while, I'm digging this whole thing, but he disappears, and all I hear is water running and trickles and stuff. And I started to get a little worried, like my watch is gone, because that's apparently what I was worried about. And at some point, I hear him pitter-pattering up to me, and out of the blue, all of a sudden, that did him. Like 5 gallons or more of hot, sudsy water hit me, and I started skating around on the table, like, and the guy's like, gave him the thumbs up, I guess. Finally went up, found Michele. She had been waiting for me. She didn't get to do all the fun things I did. So we're like, let's go get food. We stumble upon this place that was said chicken galbi, and it said extra hot. So I'm like, we like hot food. We really like hot food. They gave it to us. The guys are laughing and snickering and blah, blah, blah. That is a whole nother PechaKucha. Needless to say, our Korean experience was hot and spicy. It was adventurous. It was fun. It was interesting. And we got engaged during that, which was enough on its own. We're actually married now. Thank you.
I just need y'all to bear with me for a minute while I talk about the pages of my job.